At the end of the week, would you have an interesting story to tell? I've often seen this, especially in younger people who are just starting out on their career journey, or even people who are midway through it, that they want to accomplish a lot more. They want to do things. They have the inner intensity to accomplish, but they lack that clarity. They lack that visualization in them. And what that does is that edge that they have over time, they lose that edge. That fire is somewhere extinguished because of that lack of clarity in them, and because they don't have a set of priorities or set of actions that they need to take on a daily basis. What that really does is it confuses them a lot more, and you kind of just lose the edge over time, because there are so many decisions on a daily basis that you need to make as a career person, or probably even as an entrepreneur. And if you are confused as to what you need to do, you are somewhere going to get lost and demotivated, and a lot of times the unthinkable happens, that you just give up, and nobody likes doing that, right? Then you have to start over again. What I would like to pitch in over here, or the kind of advice that I'd like to give over here, is that what if at the end of the week, let's say you had a loved one or a mentor or a coach or your family, what if at the end of the week you had to tell them a story, you as to how the week went? Wouldn't you want an interesting story to tell them? Wouldn't you want to be excited about how the week went? I used to follow this when I was just starting out, and I used to be really, really confused and lost, and always thinking as to what should I be doing next. And because you do not have so many options as to people who would want to give you that advice or give you that clarity or the next set of actions, you are confused all the time. In that kind of an instance, in that kind of a scenario, what I used to follow was that I used to just imagine on a daily basis as to if at the end of the day I had to tell my mentor or my leaders a story, what would make an interesting story. And I used to just take that action, and I used to follow that for the week. In fact, I used to go a step ahead, and even for the weekends, I used to take up these courses and these classes on finance, because somewhere I used to feel that that is where I was lacking. I used to make my weekends as well interesting, so that I would have an interesting story to tell them on Monday. And that over time really helped, kept me excited. Even if I was lost at times, I had an interesting story to tell. Because of that, I used to take those actions, and those actions compounded over time gave me direction. They gave me that uh, clarity and visualization over time, and that is what got me wherever it got me, right? So that is an interesting thing that I would like to discuss over here. And let's say if we had to take a zoomed out view about life in general as well, wouldn't we want our lives stories to be interesting? Let's say if we were on our last day, we were taking a last breath, and if our life had to just flash by, wouldn't we want that satisfaction, that the life that we lived, the actions that we took were interesting and fulfilling? That is the thought that I'd like you guys to leave with. This is First Principles, and my name is Zaid.